Yes, 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 everyone. It's that time. It's the Red Divide time. And this time, that's the big one. That's United against Liverpool in the Premier League, baby, at Old Trafford. That's what it's all about, my cuz. As usual, joining me is my cousin Ray, the big Liverpool fan. How are you doing, boy?
Man, as uh, as the minutes slip away closer to kickoff time, I start getting more and more excited. Like I've said before, this is a bonus game. Usually, you only play twice a year against our bitter rivals. This is a bonus game, and we have a little bit of unfinished business. We slipped up against you guys twice. You got a draw, and you got a hell of a winner, cracking game. So we have some retribution that needs to be given, and I'm hoping this weekend that's exactly what's gonna happen. How are
Well,
you?
well, let's see. You couldn't score against us at Anfield, and when you last time you came to Old Trafford, you hit the bus with a little loss, a big L. So we look forward to doing the same. Letting you know that this is Manchester, my friend. You don't come here and try to take points from us. We'll send you back empty-handed. But every game's a new start. That clock starts at zero again, and we go. So really looking forward to it.
I'm glad you're looking forward to it, and you got a little bit of a spring in your step. You seem to have a little bit of confidence, obviously not based on form, but based on rivalry. And your team seems to step up against us, and that's exactly what we want. So yes, onwards and forwards. Looking forward to the game. I'm hoping we're going to smash you, but it's going to be a cracker. I know that you guys will be up for it. You guys showed a lot of determination and fight against Chelsea coming from 2-0 down. So I have no doubt you guys will be up for it, but it will definitely be a different game than what we saw at the FA Cup.
Yeah.
We're in
Look,
town, boy.
I
We're in
think
town
that
again.
Klopp is not someone that makes the same mistakes twice. So we will have to be on high alert. We'll have to ensure our tactics are up, right up to standards, on point. Because Klopp will look at what we did well and he'll try to counter that. He'll look at what we did bad and he'll try to press on that. So we will have to be at our best. We all know Klopp's a great manager. So yeah, let's hope we can send him off after his final season without taking anything from United. That would be amazing.
Man, that would be a very dull day in England, like most days with the weather. Hoping that's not the case. Hopefully, my team comes out on top. But it's a game of football. Anything can happen. And with our rivalry, it's going to be explosive. I can't wait.
100%. So, Marcos, a couple of questions I have for you.
Let's go.
Um, in this current side of yours, that is ticking along quite nicely, and as we mentioned at the beginning of the season, you have a whole new midfield. You guys are doing ridiculously well for a whole new midfield. You have a whole lot of new personalities who have to get used to the Liverpool way and the way Klopp plays, and so you guys have done fantastic. The fact that you are top of the log or thereabouts, depending on how the games have gone, is amazing. So credit to Klopp and credit to the team. Who at the moment is your most? Do you think is your most important player?
Whew, that's a tough question because this season, especially a lot of the new boys have stepped up to the plate and have shown their worth. But if I have to go for one outstanding player that's made the hugest difference for me, it's a three-way race between Soboslai, Endo, and McAllister. But I rate based on McAllister's ability to play football, the way he reads the game, how versatile he is in defense, and how versatile he is in attack. I think I'm going to go with McAllister. I'm going to say he's been our most influential signing and player for us this season. McAllister by far. He's uh, he's been a revelation, especially the fact that we couldn't get any defensive midfielder to sign for us. Both players that we were chasing ended up at Chelsea, and he had to close the gap while we got Endo on board and got him up to speed and did a fantastic job. He played two completely different positions, and I think this season he's actually shown his worth and he's probably been our most valuable player. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think he's had a hell of a debut season for Liverpool. He was always great at Brighton, but you stepped up levels here. Like,
Big time.
it just shows you what a quality player he is. Um, yeah, I'm still going to be biased. I'm still going to say that I think Salah is your most important player. But again, you see, you without him when he was injured, you guys still did well. You
We
managed
did.
to still win games and carry right through. This might be the tail end of Salah's Liverpool career. I don't know if he'll stay after this, but that experience and him just in the team, I think, goes a long way. But it looks like you guys are finding a way to play without him and win without him, and you might not miss him as much as we all thought.
I
But
think in general, I think we will miss him. I do have to agree with what you're saying that Salah is probably one of the most influential players. But just based on the season, he's been out injured, which Salah's never out injured. So there was many games that we couldn't call upon him, and then it was international breaks again. So in terms of what he's done, he stepped up. He's performed really well. Giving a lot of assists and obviously scoring. But in terms of reliability this season, I think I would say Mecca has probably stepped up to the plate. It's difficult to draw a fine line with different players that play different positions because each player contributes to the game differently. Um, but Salah, yeah, probably a close second. There's so many names. There's so many names with how Liverpool have taken to the challenge of building a new squad
mm,
ultimately. And the guys, like Soboslai and Endo. Endo's been great for us. Like he's a monster. Like, it's a real monster. I couldn't be more happy with a defensive player like him. But yeah, it has to be Endo for. It has to be McAllister for me. He's just one notch above the rest in this season, in my opinion. I'll be quite interested to see what other Liverpool supporters say, but in my opinion, I reckon Mecca definitely.
yeah, so I was going to say is it's always been Salah for me. However, the fact that you guys had managed to play without him would then tell me that maybe it's who I think is your second most important player might be taking over as the most important player, who is Van Dijk. Um, hands down, probably the reason that you guys won the title a couple of years back. So
Yeah.
solid at the back because defenses win you titles, and yeah, he's still a machine at his age. I thought he would start to falter, but man, dude's still going strong, and hopefully he does start to falter sooner rather than later for everyone else's best interest. So yeah, let's see how it goes.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen. Obviously, I'm biased because I'm a Liverpool supporter, but yes, everything you said is true. He's been a revelation for us since he's come in. He had a little bit of a stumbling patch when he got injured. That Pickford incident where he was out for like
Mm,
8 months. Took him a long time to
a
get
bad
back to the
injury.
same level that he was at. But last season and this season especially, he stepped up. Being captain, his performances have been out of this world. It just goes to show that players don't only peak in like 26s, 27s, 28s. He's in his 30s already, and he's still doing one hell of a job. If you look at the Opta stats, he's probably the best defender in the Premier League at the moment in terms of duels won, headers, passes. Don't quote me on that he might be the best, but he's definitely top three in the Premier League at this point in time.
I was just about to say, I think the Arsenal fans would have a dig at you and say, no chance is he better than Saliba or Gabriel, but I would agree. I think he is better than both those.
It's a nice little fun fact for our mate Dims, eh? He'll love that one.
Jose, both of them, big Arsenal boys that love their team, but are normally very delusional. Anyway, um, so
Moving
Marcus,
on.
onto our game. How many United players do you think would get into your current Liverpool team?
Oh man, your current squad.
You got to try not be too biased here. You got to actually say, because I'll give it to you like this: how many of them would you take?
Well, you know what my answer is going to be? None. I don't want any of them. Can't you rephrase the question where you can
No,
say,
look, if your players were, let's say your players were injured and you had to pick three players from United, because it sounds like you don't want to pick any. So if you had to pick three players from United, Which three would you pick? Don't tell me you
I'm
won't
just
take
trying.
Mainu, because I know you're speaking crap.
Look,
You'll take Mainu.
I like Mainu, but he's not the finished subject. I'm just
He's
trying
not
to
finished
think three
article. He's
players
18
that
years old. He's
I'm
18
just
years
trying
old,
to.
of course not.
Yeah, of course, he has lots of time on his hands, but in this current point in time, I don't think there's any United players that would actually start in front of any Liverpool players. But just for the object of what you're trying to do, yeah, I think Martinez, I would take him in defense because I like his heart. He fights for everything. He's very passionate about the club. So I think if I had to choose a player, it would be Martinez. There's not much more to choose from, unfortunately.
You're
Can you
telling me
bring Darren Fletcher? Can you bring Darren Fletcher back? He might be better than most of the players that you currently got.
you're funny. You're telling me that
Fergie's son.
you'd keep Endo over Kobe Mainu.
See, Kobe Mainoo's had like maybe 10 good games, like really good games where he's
Only played
been
10 games because he was injured.
outstanding. He's been outstanding. Um, he's definitely, the talent is there. He's got great talent, but he hasn't got the experience like Endo has. So that's why I'm reluctant to go for that one. Geez, maybe.
You don't have to swap them. You don't have to swap them out. Just add them to your squad.
I
So
think
you're
I
going
would add
to go with just Martinez then.
Martinez would probably be the only one if I really had to stretch and choose. Maybe Bruno Fernandes because he's Portuguese and he is skillful, although he's a little crybaby. And
Funny
then
that.
can I choose?
You're always crying
Can I
and moaning
choose?
about him, but you take him. Interesting. Carry on.
But I've always said to you, we can't disregard his talent. He is talented. We've always said that. It's just his attitude that sucks. And then I'll tell you what, let's make a deal. Can I choose two from the current crop and one from back in the day?
No, because back in the day, that whole team will crush any Liverpool team. So no.
Scholesy, that would have been my choice. Probably the best midfielder in England
100%.
of all time.
100%.
Man, your squad, your Man United squad's so shit. I can't even choose three players. Seriously, that's so disappointing. Who did you expect me to choose?
So full of crap. I would have said that you would have grabbed Garnacho, that you would have grabbed Kobe Mainu. I would definitely grab Martinez, so I'm with you on that. And
like, I mean,
trying to be honest, yeah, I would probably grab the low if I was you, because Trent's on, he's on the older side of life. He might move into midfield. He's he's a lot more injury prone these days. So I would have probably grabbed the low because he's had a crack over season.
He's had a good couple of seasons, in all fairness. Like,
yeah, I would say in general, I would say Casemiro, but he's injuries and hasn't had a good season. So I'm with you. Then I wouldn't look at him right now. But if you want to go to experience, if you're talking about Endo experience, then you can't get more experience than Casemiro. But on current form this season, I would look at Garnacho, Kobe Mainu. Martinez, unfortunately, was started the season strong, but got injured. Been out for a long time. But his quality, and as soon as he's fit, what he brings. And for me, Højlund still needs to prove it. Rashford's had a terrible season. Anthony's had a terrible season. McTominay's he's been scoring goals, that boy. Yeah? Jeez, amazing.
He has been your shining light.
Yeah, he's a great super sub for us. But yeah, and Luke Shaw, when Luke Shaw's fit, I don't think anyone can pass him up. When he's on, he's on. So that's
when he's on, he's definitely the England number one.
Yeah, that's sort of where I'm at.
I mean, if I had to go with based on current form of how they're playing, probably Garnacho. He's transformed you guys, literally, with his runs and his skill and his goals. So, yeah, it's a really tight choice between Mainu and Garnacho, but, I think I'm going to choose Garnacho. Now, this was extremely difficult for me. I didn't think any of them would make my squad. I'm going to ask you exactly the same question. who of the current crop of Liverpool players, 3 players, would you bring into your squad? And the thing is, you spoil for choice. You have so many to choose from. This is such an easy exercise for you. For me, I was pulling at straws.
Spoiled for choice. Spoiled for choice. Maybe for you, but like I don't rate half your team. So no, it's
Oh,
not.
please.
I
You
don't
don't
rate.
rate half of my team.
I don't rate the Kwanzas. I don't rate the Matips. I think that Ellison is past his prime. Robertson's past his prime. Trent is almost there. You
And
got Endo that's over the hill. Salah's, I'm a big fan of Salah, so I'm taking Salah firstly. I'll probably take Salah. I'll take Van Dijk, and I'll take Macca. You
not
can keep
Trent.
Darwin. You can keep Darwin. He's going to keep firing blanks. Luis Diaz on and off. Gakpo, he's been okay, but hasn't quite lit the scene on fire. But also he hasn't played
Not
consistently.
starting. He hasn't
Yeah,
been starting.
so might not be his own fault. I wonder how he feels actually, because there was a video of how he was going to come to United, and then Klopp called him up and gave him the speech, and he went to him, only for Klopp to tell him 6 months later, I'm retiring. So I'd love to know what he feels now, and how he feels about the whole situation, and the fact that he doesn't play every game. He doesn't start every game, at least. You know what I mean? So I'd love to know what his real thoughts are now, if he feels he got duped into joining Liverpool and got promised one thing, and now he doesn't have as much game time as he would have liked.
Well,
So we'll see.
he'd probably have less game time at Liverpool than all the game time at Man United and win nothing and do nothing. So he probably in the back of his mind, he does feel a little bit unjust, with Klopp leaving. And a correction, he's been there since last season already. So he's had 1.5 seasons with us now, because he came in the winter transfer window. But for him, you can see that he's part of a club and a team of winners. He sees that the boys are fighting for every game. He looks at you guys. You guys are fighting for fourth, fifth, sixth position. So I think, the proof is in the pudding. He probably sees what's happening at United and probably thinks he dodged a bullet. In all fairness.
Because you've had one good season with him. Last season, you finished behind us. So don't come all, geez, this and that, fighting for sixth. Yeah, you were behind us last season. So what's the story?
We were behind you. We had injuries. We had an age in midfield. We all know the issues that we had. No excuses. We were shit. And then we pulled up our socks. We changed some formations and started playing Trent more in the middle. And then we went on a running streak of winning. So, yeah, no issues. It's football. You can't win every game. Sometimes clubs go through these spells where they struggle. And
Listen to
unfortunately,
yourself.
that was our problem last season.
Correct. This is our problem this year. 100%. Listen to
No,
yourself.
but you've been in the slump since Fergie left. It's not just now.
We've still won trophies along the way. So it's not
No,
like we've won jack.
what have you won? You won 2 trophies or 3 trophies max?
I think
In
5,
how many years? Five trophies in what's it been?
10 years.
2010
One
years?
averages once every 2 years. It's not terrible. It's not great, but there's a lot of teams. Even Arsenal. Arsenal haven't won the amount of trophies we've won in the last 10 years.
Yes, but they haven't had as many managers either. You guys have had
100%. So
this
they
is your
should be
5th
better.
managers.
So
They should be better,
Yeah.
but the appointments that they appointed previously wasn't good enough.
What are you talking
Arteta,
about? Yeah. And what about what's the name at Villa? Look what he's doing there.
oh, he's doing a great job at Villa. He
He
probably
wasn't given the
deserved a little
time
bit
at
more
Arsenal.
time. Yeah, he
Yeah.
probably needed more time there.
Exactly.
Great tacticianer, though.
Yeah, for sure. But back onto the bigger clubs, United. Forget Arsenal. Yeah, Marcus. So those are the 3 I would take. To be fair, I think your squad depth is better than ours. You have Klopp has every single player that he wants. That's at his team. You know what I mean? He's chosen those players. Ten Hag's
That's right.
still got a mixture of different managers, but that's with time. You get to change that, and it's only his second season, so that's to be expected. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I would take those 3, I guess, as if I could choose 3 right off the bat, it would probably be those 3.
Okay, fair enough. So I have a question for you, Mark. What is your take on your current manager's mannerisms of answering questions in the media after football games? Is he on thin ice? Is he just talking out of his ass? Does he really believe the things he says? What's your take on it?
It's tough. I think we touched on this in the last video, but yeah, I don't like what he's saying anymore. Not that I don't like all of it, but there are some things that he says we dominated the game and we didn't. Um, or it's just, I guess he's giving his perspective. It's his opinion, right? And he's allowed to give that. So he says we dominated, or we were the better team, or we should have won. Yeah, but we didn't, and we didn't win because of poor defending and lack of character and lack of leadership. So that's stuff that he has to fix. The fact that the team started so poorly, that's on him to get the team motivated, get the guys motivated to start the game better. Then you won't
Yeah,
be 2-0 down against Chelsea after 20 or whatever it was, 25 minutes, whatever it was. Um, you have to motivate them to be the hungriest team on the pitch. So that's at his, unfortunately that's his fault. But then once they got going, great character to go to 3-2. That's awesome, and those are his tactics that he's using. Awesome, but then to drop your heads, poor defending, and so on. I don't blame him for the loss. I blame him for the poor start, but I don't blame him for the loss um, because he's not on the field. He's not out there defending. And there's a picture, there's a still of three United supporters, three United players, all pointing at Palmer. All of them are pointing at Palmer.
I
None of
saw
them are
that.
going. None of them are going, but they're all pointing. So what are we doing? Who's going to take responsibility and
No
go
one
chase the
stepped
man,
up.
go get him? So anyway, yeah, that's where we're at, and but we'll have to see how it goes. So I don't like his answers to his questions anymore. Number one, number two, there's still no definite way of play from him that that's the Ten Hag way. Look,
Yeah,
we good on the counter or great on the counter, if you want to look at it, but we're not world record fast-paced players coming off the break and chasing the game down and being absolutely deadly on the counter. We have a game where we're great on the counter against Liverpool, and then there's other games where we make the terrible decision in the final ball for the entire game, and then we score
yeah,
one goal or zero goals, and we could have scored 3, 4, 5 goals. So yeah, that's sort of where we're at. So we need to see more from him, but I'm very confused because I like him, and I think that he can do it, especially under the new structure. He hasn't had a chance to do the new structure, right? To
yeah,
perform under the new structure. I'm still hoping he gets that chance. I don't think he's going to get that chance, but yeah, we'll have to go from there. I don't think he's going to make it. I'd like him to make it, but the more I feel it goes on, and the more things he says that don't quite add up, and the more we see that the team doesn't have its profile of how we play and what we're
yeah.
all
No
about,
identity. There's no real
the, the,
identity.
the more I feel that we're not going to make it. So, or he's not
Mm,
going to make it. I think the top four is already gone. Maybe we can sneak top five now, and hopefully that's enough to get in the Champions League. But again, like I said in the last video, if you don't get it, it's because you haven't been good enough. You don't deserve it.
yeah,
So
exactly.
that's sort of where I'm at. Yeah, that's all I can say. So that's that.
Well, the thing is, although you guys have been very inconsistent, winning games, losing games, top top four is still a reality, in my opinion,
Sure,
because you've
but
got
things
two
have to
games
go
in
right.
hand.
We
You've
have
got
to
two
win
games
every
in hand,
game. Yeah,
yes. But if you have two games in hand, you're only 6 points away from fourth place. And that's
sure.
achievable. That's two games. Okay, we're running out of games. But yeah, there's a slight possibility if you win all your games and everything else goes your way. But most likely, fifth probably looks like the best possible achievement that you guys can get this season, if
Mm.
I'm honest.
Yeah, no, I agree. So
But
that's
it all
unfortunate. But that's that.
it all starts tomorrow. It all starts tomorrow when we right the wrongs of previous games, and fighting for the Premiership title. City winning, Arsenal winning, pressures on us. This is one of those games against our biggest rivals that is a must win. It's a must win game for us. For you guys, not so much. Doesn't have to be a must win. Even if you guys take points off, I think you guys will be happy. But for us, we have to go for it. There's no two ways about it. We have to go for it against our biggest rivals. Nothing's easy in football. But if you want to win titles, you got to beat, the better teams.
Definitely. So, talking about tomorrow's game, if United beat you or draw with you, take points off you, is that the end of your title run? Considering City will then be what? If you draw, they level with you, right? Well,
So
no, you still one ahead of them.
City's
You'll be
they're
1
two
point ahead if
behind
you
us.
draw.
They're two behind us, although they're one now. And then
No.
Arsenal would go above us on goal difference.
Yeah, so you'd be level with City if they draw. If
That's
you
right.
guys draw, if you lose, they ahead of you by a point. And considering their running is easier than yours on paper, at least, is that the end of your title race?
I have to say no, because I do believe that the guys won't just let the league slip away just with one result. I think the boys will be fighting right to the end.
Yeah, but then it's
I
out of your
wouldn't
hand.
expect anything else. I have to say no, because anything can happen. Either team can also slip up. Arsenal still has to play Spurs. They still have to play Aston Villa. City still have to play Spurs as well. They played Villa and won. City have the easiest run in. Arsenal probably, it's between Liverpool and Arsenal who have more difficult games. But I'm going to say no. I don't think it would be the end of the title race, because anything can happen. There's 7 games to go. Anyone can drop points against any team, especially playing the teams that are fighting for relegation at this point in time. Those are probably the most trickiest games to overcome. So confidently, I'd say no, just because there still is a couple more games. But it certainly would put a huge dent in trying to get over the line with the Premier League for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I think it's done. I think knowing City, how they finished the season, they always finish strong. If you drop
Always.
points, I think it's over for you guys. Whoever drops points, I think it's done. If any of you Arsenal, drop points and allow City to take the lead at this late stage, it's done. They'll win the title. So it's in both your hands to avoid that. I think if you win all your games, you'll be champions. But if either of you drop points, I don't think City will drop any more points. They'll finish strong and go win the league. So that's my
Well, they
warning
haven't
to you.
lost in 2024. They're on a hot streak of 15. So we always knew that City was going to be the main challengers. With all due respect to Arsenal, they've had a great season. They've shown more character this season. They don't really look like the bottle jobs that they were last season. In all fairness, it seems like they're more structured and probably have the correct mindset to overcome all of the pressure that they have from day to day playing football, especially in the league, the best league in the world. So if Arsenal are doing better and City don't drop points, we have no choice but to win all of our games. If you wanna pick that cup up at the end of the season, there is no other way. So this is a Premier League, Marcus. Anything can happen, but I'm hoping that's not going to happen. I'm hoping that we can get a result against you guys. Play well, be positive. Hopefully, you guys play and you guys are up for it. It will make a good game. And if we get the results, that's a step in the right direction. If we don't, lessons learned, and hope that you have a little bit of luck with the rest of the games.
So to answer my question, after that long story you just gave me, if you drop points against United, is your title over? You saying no?
Negative.
I think just based on City's history, that last 10, 15 games, they don't drop points. They just go. So there we go. Arsenal, I think, still They do look a lot stronger than last year. They're not so emotional. They're a little more experienced as well. So I think they'll push all the way to the end. Obviously, still hoping they drop a couple points here and there. And yeah, we'll go from there. We have it in our own hands. We can take points off you and points off Arsenal and decide the title ourselves. You know what I mean? But we'll see. United are not in the best way right now, which makes it tricky. But let's see. We have our first shot tomorrow. Bang, bang.
No, no one can depend on Man United for anything. Arsenal fans can't depend on you guys tomorrow, and we can't depend on Arsenal or you guys against Arsenal later on in the season. Can't depend on you guys for
Yeah.
nothing.
Talking a big mouth again, freshly after getting smacked out of the FA Cup. Interesting. Very interesting.
Definitely wasn't a smack. It was a good game of football. You won by 1 goal. You showed some bottle, some fight, and some character. I've given you the credit. I'm going to give you more because that's just abuse. That's taking the piss.
Yeah.
But yeah, tomorrow. So this is the thing. This is the part that I'm looking forward to the most. You with your big mouth after the game, so excited. Yeah, cousin, you quote. You said this. You said this. You said this. Well, fun time now. I'd love to hear if you're going to use your heart or your brain to give us a prediction of this game.
You know, I always use my heart. No, let me correct that. I always use my brain. I've learned over the years, be smarter, use your brain, not your heart. So, on current form, it'd be silly to think that United would comfortably beat you. But I know in this particular fixture, form does go out the window. I watched poor Liverpool beat a really good Man United in many, many games growing up. So I know form means nothing in this fixture. Yeah, I'd love to say that we're going to win, but based on on the current form and evidence in front of me, I think that it will be a close game. But I think it'll either be a draw or it'll be a narrow. Hate to say this, but it'll be a narrow victory for Liverpool.
That's it, my cuz. You've finally seen the light. Eh? A nice little Liverpool win there. It's nice to hear that you're being honest. Normally you'd say, nah, Man United will win 1-0. It'll be a tight game. We'll scrape it 1-0.
No, do you know why I'm saying that? So
why?
firstly, evidence of our form. Number two, our defense is wrecked. It's wrecked. Martinez won't. He might be on the bench, but he won't start.
You got Maguire, your golden boy.
Maybe your golden boy, but not our golden boy. So yes, you're up against him. And Evans, I think Evans got injured as well. He did get injured, so that's Kwambala. You're going to play against Maguire and an academy player in Kwambala. So those two, Kwambala I rate at least, Maguire don't. But they're going to have to stop Salah, Darwin, Diaz, McAllister. It's a tough ask, so that's why. If we had Varane and Martinez, I'd feel a lot better. But yeah, I don't feel too good about that. So yeah, we'll concede, and we're making concede too many for us to fight back, and that's why I think you'll win.
So narrow win for Liverpool. You're not predicting like a 4 or a 5, nothing like that.
No, I mean, if I'm honest, it probably will be like a 3-1. I expect a decent game, but I think the scoreline will reflect a little more than a tight game. Maybe 3-1 Liverpool.
If I'm honest, I hope that the atmosphere and the game is exactly the same as it was in the FA Cup. You know, that is the type of games growing up. We had this rivalry where the tackles were flying. Everybody wanted to win the first, the second ball. There was a point to prove with this massive rivalry, probably the biggest rivalry in England. And I really hope that Man United turn up with that attitude, because it will make a good game of football. It will be thrilling, and the game will be open. I'm not quite sure if that's the tactics that Ten Hag will adapt. I doubt it. Especially, with your indecisive form. You good today, you bad tomorrow. I don't know. I'm thinking probably also 3-1 to Liverpool. Like you mentioned, your defense, winning football games starts with defense. Klopp always says it. You want to win a football game, you gotta win the defensive battle first, and first and foremost, you stop playing football after that. So with that being said, I think we have a good chance of scoring 3 or 4 goals against you guys. You're not having your first team defenders there. And like I said, we need to right some wrongs from the season. You guys have showed us up twice. We got a draw and a win. And that's not the type of banter that I want to be throwing back at you, where you can point back at me and say, "Oh, we've done you guys 3 times this season." That would be completely embarrassing and defeat the point of this whole episode. So Liverpool 3 or 4 all day long.
So let me let you know that we can beat you. Just so you know that we've already showed we can beat you.
You've showed that you can.
However, with our injury, especially at the back, and our current form, I don't think we have enough right now to beat you again. And that's why I think it'll either be a draw, but I'm leaning more towards Liverpool winning by a goal or 2.
You know, in almost a year of this podcast, Marcus, this is probably the first time that you said something that is so credible that everyone can believe you.
Oh, listen to this buffoon. I'll wait for the next video because if it doesn't go your way, Marcus, we're going to have another chuckle. It's going to
be more fun. Yeah, I'll be on the chopping block once again.
Yeah, the huge. Awesome, Marcus. Great episode.
Can't wait for tomorrow. I'll be sure to be calling you before the game, just to wind you up a little bit and get you dizzy. Standard. And then, we'll be talking throughout the game. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of smack going around. And then looking forward to the next episode. Hopefully I'm smiling and not a mouthful of teeth like I was in the last time round.
I look forward to that.
Let's go, boys. Come on, Liverpool. Let's show these dirty fucking Manx. Let's go. No chance.
See you later. Ciao.
Ciao.